You know, it's fascinating how easily our minds can create shifts. You may already be noticing that. In this very moment, a part of you is open to new possibilities, new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling, and even new ways of being. You can already begin to sense that change is happening effortlessly, naturally, as you let yourself drift into a place where you're free from the constraints of old beliefs. And isn't it interesting how sometimes, when others react in ways we don't fully understand, we might feel a sense of tension or frustration, a belief that perhaps people tend to make assumptions, jumping to conclusions, reacting before asking questions, attacking before understanding. And yet, deep down, you know that asking questions, understanding, and creating that connection is more powerful than any reaction could ever be. In fact, the more you think about it, the more you realize that understanding, it's always been available to you, just waiting for you to decide to focus on it. Because the truth is, you don't need to fight against assumptions. You don't need to resist judgment. You have a choice. You have the power to respond, to move from reaction into thoughtful, purposeful action. And isn't that empowering? How many times have you found that the power to understand, to clarify, to communicate, can turn a moment of frustration into a moment of connection and insight? Imagine just for a moment, in those moments where others jump to conclusions or make assumptions, you're able to step into a space of curiosity, a place where you become genuinely interested in what's going on behind those reactions. Feel the subtle shift as you breathe in that curiosity. Feel it fill you up with a sense of calm and focus, as you realize you have everything you need to ask questions, to clarify, to understand. What if, just like that, you could notice how assumptions, they're really just the surface of a much deeper process, a process that's happening in their minds, and in yours too. What if you could respond with a new level of awareness, and instead of reacting to an attack, you could simply ask, what is it that I need to understand here? What is behind this assumption? And isn't it just so intriguing to realize that by doing this, you don't have to change anyone else. You only need to change how you respond. You have the ability to bring peace into situations, simply by choosing to ask questions, to seek understanding, rather than to meet assumptions with judgment. Every time you make that choice, you're reinforcing a new belief. That communication is about connection, that curiosity brings clarity, and that the awareness are often just waiting, and that the answers, they're often just waiting to be discovered as you patiently ask and listen. And now, as you listen to your thoughts and feel your body in this space, I wonder if you can begin to sense how the need to defend yourself, the desire to justify, slowly dissolves. In fact, I wonder if, with each passing moment, you realize that understanding is more important than winning an argument, more important than being right. The need to be right just melts away, and you feel yourself becoming more relaxed, more grounded, as you connect with others in ways that feel genuine and true. Because deep inside, you already know that no attack, no judgment can take away the power that you have to understand, to find clarity, to communicate with purpose. And each time you choose to respond with curiosity, you're expanding your own understanding of the world. And more importantly, you're expanding your ability to make meaningful connections that nourish and sustain you. You know, don't you, that as you focus on asking questions rather than assuming, you invite a world of opportunity where everyone, yes everyone, can choose understanding over judgment, curiosity over defensiveness, clarity over confusion. It's almost as if the world itself opens up, inviting you into a new realm of possibility, where assumptions fade and communication blossoms. Feel it as you release that old tension, the frustration of feeling misunderstood. And notice how, with each breath, that sense of curiosity, of wonder, begins to fill the space, expanding out from your heart, moving through your mind, and influencing how you respond to every situation. A deep knowing that everything and everyone is a chance to connect and to grow. Your mind, your thoughts, your actions, they now align with this new belief. That assumptions no longer affect you, because you know you're choosing to ask, to listen, and to understand. And with this, you can almost sense how your relationships shift, how your world begins to feel just a little bit lighter. The truth is, people often make assumptions, not out of malice, but out of habit. And as you begin to shift into this space of understanding, you notice you no longer take those assumptions personally. Instead, you meet them with the calm, grounded awareness that you have the power to create clarity simply by choosing to ask. Feel that deep inside you, the truth that you are in control of your responses, the truth that you can always choose curiosity over defensiveness, understanding over assumption. And isn't it wonderful to realize that the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, until it's simply who you are. Someone who, instead of reacting, creates the space for connection. Now as you take a deep breath, you might feel yourself just a little bit more at ease with the idea that no matter how others react, you have the ability to transform those moments into something different. Not a fight, but a dance of questions, answers, and understanding. You have the ability to shape your experience in ways that bring more peace, more connection, and more clarity into every conversation. And with each new experience, you find it easier and easier to embody this new belief. The people don't need to make assumptions, and neither do you. Instead, you can trust that asking, exploring, and truly listening is the most powerful thing that you can do. Notice as you step further into this belief that the world around you begins to shift. And the more you practice this, the more it becomes second nature. You move through the world with a sense of ease, knowing that understanding is always available, always within reach, and the way you respond can create an experience of connection and peace wherever you go. So let yourself drift into this new way of being, effortlessly and naturally, with each breath that you take. Feel more aligned, more grounded, more free to ask, to listen and to understand. And with that, everything shifts as you become the master of how you respond and how you choose to connect. So as you continue to relax and settle into this space of comfort, you might begin to notice that your mind is becoming more open to the idea that there's a subtle power in the way you respond to the world around you. A quiet, almost unnoticed shift happening deep inside. A shift where understanding begins to replace the old reactions, where curiosity gently unfolds into a place of deservingness. You see, it's all so easy, isn't it? So easy to choose a new belief. A belief when others make assumptions, when others react with judgment. You have the ability to pause, and in that pause, you begin to breathe deeply. You create space for something more, a space for curiosity, a space for understanding. And in that space, you realize it's not about them at all. It's about you. It's about how you choose to respond. And each time you choose to respond with openness, with questions, you find the world becomes a little softer, a little more inviting, a lot more peaceful. Because just as you're discovering now, understanding does not come from reacting. It comes from observing, from stepping back, and from seeing with new eyes. Eyes that see the human being behind the reaction, the person behind the assumption. And isn't it fascinating to realize how simple that is? How by simply noticing the possibility of understanding, you can open doors that once seemed closed. And imagine just for a moment how much lighter you feel when you let go of the need to defend yourself. When you release the impulse to prove yourself right. It's almost as though you no longer need to carry the heavy weight of being right. You feel that weight dissolve, floating away, as you see how unnecessary it truly is. You begin to feel how much more powerful it is to let go of the old patterns, and instead embrace the power of choosing how you respond. What if in every interaction you could begin to trust that the answers you seek are always available, just waiting for you to ask the right questions. And as you ask, you realize that you're also opening up the space for the other person to share their truth. Isn't it amazing how, when you ask with genuine curiosity, others feel seen and valued? Isn't that the kind of connection that you've always wanted to create? A connection that flows with ease, with understanding, with no assumptions, just clear, compassionate communication. Imagine now how your responses begin to shift. Each time you sense an assumption forming, you simply pause and ask, what might I be missing here? What might they need me to understand? And in that pause, you open up an entirely new realm of possibility. A realm where assumptions no longer limit you, where judgments fall away, and understanding becomes a natural rhythm of your interactions. Notice how, with each breath, this new belief becomes more and more integrated into your being. It's as if this idea is already taking root deep in your unconscious mind, where it can grow effortlessly. Just like the seeds of curiosity that you plant with each question, so too does the belief and understanding take root and expand. And with that growth, there's a natural shift in your relationships. You notice that others, they're beginning to feel more comfortable with you. They feel heard, they feel understood, and in that space, assumptions begin to lose their grip. You realize the power of communication. It lies not in what's said, but in the space between, where curiosity, openness, and the willingness to listen create connection. Now take a moment to notice how easy it is for you to let go of the old habits of reacting, of defending yourself, and as you release these old patterns, you become even more relaxed. You become more confident in your ability to respond with understanding, to ask questions, to step into a place of curiosity, where assumptions and judgments no longer hold any power. Isn't it just so clear now how much easier it is to let go of those old feelings of hurt or anger? How much lighter it feels to choose the path of understanding over reaction. And with each breath, you feel yourself stepping into this new way of being, this new way of thinking. It's almost as if you're stepping into a new version of yourself, one who embodies patience, curiosity, and clarity. A version of you that naturally responds with questions, gently dissolving assumptions and creating space for truth to emerge. With every question you ask, you're affirming your commitment to understanding, to connection, and to a world where judgment no longer takes hold. And with each passing moment, you realize how this new belief becomes second nature. You see your unconscious mind is already shifting, already beginning to work in harmony with your new beliefs, so that understanding, curiosity, and open communication become your natural way of being. Your responses, so effortless, so fluid, become the gateway to deeper, more meaningful connections. What if, from this moment forward, you always choose the path of curiosity? What if you could allow the assumptions of others to simply wash over you, knowing that you have the power to create clarity, to ask questions, and to gently shift the energy into a space of understanding? Noticing how this feels as you allow this new belief to settle deeply in your unconscious mind, effortlessly, naturally, expanding with every thought, with every interaction. The more you choose curiosity, the more it becomes the dominant force in your life. You begin to notice, without effort, that you're choosing understanding, even in the most challenging situations. You feel it inside, as if you give yourself permission to let go of judgment and to allow your questions to flow freely. And notice how, as you embrace this new way of being, others begin to respond differently as well. Assumptions dissolve, misunderstandings fade away, and in their place, connection blooms. You realize by choosing to step into understanding, by choosing curiosity, you're not only transforming your own experience, but you're helping to create a more harmonious world around you. Feel it now, the belief settling deep inside you, effortlessly shifting your thoughts, your feelings, and your responses. This new belief that curiosity, understanding, and communication, they're your natural tools for creating meaningful connection. You can trust as you continue to live this way. Every situation becomes an opportunity to grow, to ask, and to understand. And the more you live this truth, the more natural it becomes, until it's simply who you are. And so with every passing day, you realize you can always choose understanding over assumptions. You can always choose curiosity over judgment. And in that choice, you find your life becoming lighter, easier, and more connected. As you embody the belief that, no matter the circumstance, you have the power to create clarity, connection, and peace. The truth of that deep inside, as your unconscious mind takes this new belief and makes it a permanent part of you. Because you're now someone who chooses to understand, to ask, and to create the connection that brings peace, growth, and clarity into every interaction. So as you settle even deeper into this space, you might begin to notice how effortless it is to let go of old ways of thinking. Those old beliefs about reactions, assumptions, and judgments. They're just fading away, like clouds drifting across the sky. And as they fade, a new sense of clarity emerges, almost without you even trying. It's as if your mind has always known how to embrace curiosity, how to move towards understanding. And now it's simply becoming the way you think, the way you respond, the way you move through life. It's interesting how sometimes, when you feel attacked or misunderstood, we want to defend ourselves. But here, in this space, you begin to realize just how unnecessary that defense truly is. You already have the key, the ability to ask. And as you realize this, notice how each breath brings more comfort, more peace, more understanding. You start to feel the truth of this, that the need to react doesn't belong to you anymore. You can trust in your ability to choose how to respond. Isn't it amazing how this simple choice, this shift in thinking, allows everything to feel so much easier? Imagine just for a moment, in any situation where someone makes an assumption, you are now the one who steps back, pauses, and chooses to ask. You don't need to defend yourself, because you now have something far more powerful, curiosity. Feel how that power fills you with calm, with a deep knowing that the answers are always there, just waiting for you to ask the right questions. Your mind opens to the simple truth that understanding comes from within, and the world you experience is a reflection of the questions you ask and the choices you make. What if in every situation you could simply relax into the understanding that everyone is doing the best that they can with what they know, and in that moment you could choose to connect, to ask, and to seek clarity rather than jumping into assumption? Can you sense how much lighter that feels? How much more empowering it is to know that you have the power to transform the energy of any conversation simply by asking one simple, clear question. What is it I need to understand here? With every breath, the truth settles deeper within you. And with each breath, you feel yourself becoming more attuned to this new way of being. This is no longer something that you try to do. It's simply becoming who you are. You may notice it in your thoughts, your responses, even your body. You start to feel, when you ask, people respond differently. You feel more relaxed, and they feel more at ease. You realize when you ask, you aren't just seeking answers, you're creating a space of mutual respect, where understanding can grow naturally. And isn't it wonderful to feel this shift? To know that with every choice to listen, every choice to ask, you're reinforcing this new belief that the real power is in your ability to respond with understanding rather than reaction. And as you continue to make this choice, it becomes easier and easier. It becomes automatic. Just like that, you're able to meet every assumption with an openness that invites clarity, that invites connection, that invites growth. Notice how, with each interaction, you feel more relaxed, more confident in your ability to turn any moment into an opportunity to understand. Imagine how powerful it is to know that you decide what you give your attention to. If someone reacts from a place of assumption or judgment, you can simply choose to pause, to ask, to seek clarity. Knowing this new way of responding feels natural. You feel that deep in your bones, don't you? How easy it is to simply let go of the need to be right, and instead choose the path of connection. And as you breathe deeply now, you can almost feel the invisible threads of curiosity and understanding weaving themselves into the fabric of your daily life. What if you begin to see every assumption as an opportunity to grow, to deepen your understanding of the world and those around you, and notice how you embrace this new belief more fully, how those assumptions then no longer have the same impact. Instead of feeling anger or frustration, you now feel empowered, knowing that you can ask. And in that asking, you create the space for a deeper connection. There's a quiet power in this, isn't there? The power of stepping back and allowing curiosity to guide you. When someone makes an assumption or a judgment, you don't have to take it personally. Instead, you recognize you have the ability to guide the conversation towards understanding. It's fascinating to realize that as you ask questions, you're teaching others how to be curious too. You're setting the tone, leading by example, and showing that true communication starts with understanding, not with assumptions. Imagine as you deepen this process that every time you ask a question, you become more and more at ease. Every time you release the need to react, every time you pause and ask, your connection with others strengthens, and that natural curiosity expands. You're no longer seeking understanding in others. You're seeking it in yourself too. As you begin to ask questions of yourself, you allow the answers to emerge effortlessly from a place of deep wisdom. You're beginning to trust in your ability to understand, not just others, but yourself as well. And notice how, over time, this belief becomes so ingrained in you that it's no longer even a thought that you need to consciously make. It's like breathing, like walking, like a natural rhythm of your life. You've woven curiosity into the very fabric of your being, and as a result, your interactions feel lighter, easier, more fulfilling. People respond to you differently. Your world begins to shift. You're no longer carrying the weight of assumptions, no longer feeling burdened by judgment. Instead, you've opened up a space where clarity flows naturally, where understanding flows effortlessly. And as you feel this truth settling deeper within you, know that you're becoming the embodiment of curiosity, the embodiment of understanding. It's who you are. It's how you interact with the world. Every time you choose to ask, every time you choose to pause and invite clarity, you're affirming this truth. You have the power to choose understanding over assumption. And in that choice, you create peace. You're now someone who effortlessly listens, who effortlessly asks, who effortlessly connects. And as you continue to live from this place, imagine how this belief will shape everything that you do. You'll notice how much easier it is to communicate, how much more connected you feel to the people around you, how much more at ease you feel simply by knowing that curiosity is your guide. This new belief becomes part of your identity, and with it you move through life confident that no matter what happens, you always have the ability to create understanding. You always have the ability to ask. And as you ask, you find everything becomes easier, and you discover a deeper sense of peace in every moment. And now, with each breath, you realize this truth, this belief. It's already fully integrated, flowing effortlessly through your mind and body. And as you let this understanding deepen, you feel how much more at ease you are in your daily life. And with that ease comes the power to create connection, the power to dissolve assumptions, and the power to live with clarity and peace. You know, from this moment forward, you'll always respond with understanding, always choose curiosity, and always create the connection that leads to greater clarity, growth, and peace. And as you move forward from there, you can feel how this is already becoming a part of who you are, a natural, effortless part of your life. The more you practice this, the more it becomes second nature, until it's simply a reflection of your true self.